Overworked? Tired? Not sure how you're going to accomplish everything? I've got a solution for you coming up next. Welcome, leaders, to another episode of Leadership Roll Call. I'm your host, Michael Finley. So, delegation. Let's define delegation. Let's see, here it is. To entrust a task or responsibility to another person. Well, that sounds pretty good. Let's see what the benefits are. Helps us get our work done. Check, that sounds pretty good. Helps us focus on strategy rather than the individual steps. Well, I like the sound of that. Helps us focus on many tasks, not just one. Okay, I like it. Helps us develop our employees. Love it. Well, with all those benefits, why in the blue blazes don't we delegate? So there was an article in Forbes, and it quoted a London Business School professor named John Hunt. And he said only about 30% of managers think they can delegate effectively. But you know what? Out of those 30%, employees say only 1 in 3 can actually delegate effectively. So that means that, let me do the math here, that's 1, 2, 3, so that means only 1 in 10 can actually delegate effectively. Yikes. So there's a couple of reasons why we don't delegate. First and foremost is people feel like they are the only ones that can do a particular task. Well, I hate to break it to you, but there's a lot of smart people out there. There's a lot of people out there that can do the task if we just take the time and explain it fully. Another reason we don't delegate is we don't have the time. We say to ourselves, well, you know what, it's going to take me too long to explain it, and during that time I could just do it myself, so I'm just going to do it myself. And the other reason we don't delegate, there's actually some managers that are afraid that if they delegate to an employee and the employee does a pretty good job, that they're going to lose some kind of power or status or whatever. You know what? But if we do delegate and we do it effectively, the benefits far outweigh the reasons we give why we shouldn't. It helps us with our time management skills, and everybody needs help with that. It also develops the employee, maybe even grooms your successor. And that will motivate employees. It will also motivate your team to see that you're actually trying to help them reach their full potential. Okay, you're saying you convinced me, I'll start delegating. Well, wait. Before you get going, there's a couple of things you need to consider. First, you need to choose the task you're going to delegate. There are some tasks that we shouldn't delegate, and I'll get to those in just a minute. But you want to choose the right task. If it's a critical task and time is of essence, then you don't want to set an employee up to fail. So choose the right task to delegate to the employee. Next, you want to make sure that the employee has the skills and the resources to complete the task. Don't set them up for failure, but make sure that they have the skills and the resources available to them so they can successfully complete the task. Also, you want to let them know why you're delegating to them. Too many times a boss just shoves the work to an employee, says, here, do this, and they go pat themselves on the back because they delegated when the employee looks like they just got dumped on. If you're going to delegate a task, let the employee know that you're doing it to develop them, to help them succeed. Next, you want to make sure you provide clear instructions on what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. Don't set the employee up for failure by not giving clear instructions. Give the clear instructions of what the task needs to be done and the timeline that needs to be involved. Next, you want to make sure that you set up times to review the progress. So don't wait until the last minute to review it and then scream at the employee because they didn't do it effectively. Set up times usually about 1/3 of the way into it and another 2/3 of the way into it so that the employee, if they have any questions, they're able to ask them with time to spare. And you can also see the progress and let them know that if you need to step in or not. So make sure that you set up time and let the employee know that you're going to check on them. Next, you want to, because of this, part of this is you want to trust them. Don't micromanage. If you're going to delegate a task, don't hang over them every second of the day to seeing how they're doing. Again, set up these checkpoints and manage them. Don't micromanage them. And lastly, once the employee's completed the task and they've done it successfully, give them praise in public. This creates loyalty between the manager and their employee. So, as we mentioned, there's a couple of times you don't want to delegate. And one is that the task is critical. And this means that the task is critical and only you know it, and maybe the timeline is such that you can't properly delegate it. So if the task is critical, then maybe you should take on that task. However, there's some other tasks that you can delegate to your employees. The next time you don't want to delegate a task is if it involves discipline. Don't set the employee up to be the bad guy. If you have to discipline an employee, do it yourself. Don't delegate that task. And lastly, the next task you don't want to delegate is if you're giving praise or recognition to an employee. That's something you should do yourself. Don't delegate that task to someone else. You know what? Delegation. It's not easy, and it's something that we have to work at. But if we do it and do it successfully, again, it helps with our time management skills, it helps develop employees, and it motivates that employee and the team to see that you have their best interest at heart and you're trying to get them to reach their full potential. So I hope this brief overview of delegation was beneficial to you. If you have a comment about this or any other topic you would like to see, please post it below. And again, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, good luck with delegation.